Okay, we're gonna get started. Oh, now stop working. All right, welcome to our July staff meeting. If you haven't yet, sign in on the comment section, and if you feel like it, you can write in thinking about the upcoming school year, I'd like to, and then you can fill in the blank there and write it in the chat, and we'll read it to everyone, or they can read it. Thank you for signing in, those of you who already did. I'm going to get started. Okay. Super Staff Member of the month of June. Remember, we're always a month behind. These are people who did an stand-up job in June, and we wanted to recognize them in one way or another. They were doing a fantastic job, so we wanted to recognize them and working effectively and efficiently each day to ensure her students are engaged and well cared for, and classroom parents receive frequent communication about their child's growth and development. Thoughtfully caring to her co-teacher by balancing the responsibilities, ensuring they feel supported each day, dives into any situation that comes her way and not afraid to get her hands dirty. She continues to show growth as an educator and a terrific team player. So congratulations to Miss Katie. And then the next one is Miss Terry. She has developed into a strong and skilled 2-year-old teacher who's worked collaboratively with her co-teacher to prepare students for independence and the expectations of early preschool. She exhibits professionalism, consideration for others, and dedication to her classroom and school. She uses instruction and learning experiences from technical assistance, constructive feedback, and professional development sessions to enhance the learning environment. So congratulations to Miss Katie and Miss Terry. And then we have a special acknowledgement for Miss Ruby. She's an invaluable asset to the Sneeds Ferry family, thoughtful in her approach to all situations and role model exhibiting ideal leadership when communicating with parents and guardians and staff members. She has ensured each staff member receives the support, guidance, and care to become successful and grow as a professional. She's one of the main reasons why our school receives so many compliments regarding the programs and services we provide teachers. She's often commended for exceptional organization and care for staff paperwork, especially from our licensors when they stop by. Heather Elliott's always very impressed with how Miss Ruby organizes and maintains the documentation for staff. So thank you to Miss Ruby. And she's working hard on this whole new Excel sheet for staff training worksheet. She's got to take everything she had and put into this new spreadsheet that the state has us using. So she's always busy making sure that everything's done correctly organized and you guys are taken care of and our schools are taken care of. So thank you to Miss Ruby. Everyone's certificates and their moolah will be available tomorrow to them. So congratulations to our super staff members of the month of June. Our July 2026 newsletter doesn't have any important dates because I totally forgot to put them in there. That's why Miss Amy has taken over because she remembers everything. But those are super staff members at the top. Our staff highlight, we wanted to highlight Mr. Ricky because he has joined us for the summer and is now implementing an extracurricular of musical instruction as well as working as a flex teacher. So we wanted to include information about that program because it is something that sets us apart from other schools, early childhood centers. We want to note from the office, making sure that parents sign their children in and out. If you've noticed a parent has not signed their children in, please make sure you do that from your end so that all children are accounted for on ProCare. Happenings at Sneeds Ferry. I did announce on this newsletter that Miss Bonita is retiring come September, and we're very sad, but happy for her. After 8 years, she's our wonderful infant room lead teacher, and she is going to be retiring this September. She's going to begin training her replacement teachers, and Miss Madison has been in there. We were going to welcome Miss Lori, but Miss Lori did not cut it. So we are still looking. Miss Ruby is still searching for that perfect co-teacher for Miss Madison. And hopefully they're around the corner because it's good to be picky. It's good that we're picky, but it's tough to come by someone who is going to even come half as wonderful as Miss Bonita. So we are working to try to find that person. We're telling people to make sure that they're bringing their learning home in their households. It doesn't just stop at the door when they leave school. They can be reading each evening. They can be engaging with their children and asking them questions about what's happening in the home. They can include them in things that they do each day, like cooking dinner. Just those simple tasks and having conversations with their children builds a child's vocabulary, and reading to them every day builds their literacy and their interest in literacy. So that kind of stuff you do every day in school, but they may not know to do that at home. They're sticking their children, hopefully not, but in front of a tablet or a screen, and they're using that as a way to keep their child occupied, which I can understand. I do use it sometimes. A lot of times. We watch a lot of TV, but we want to make sure we're engaging with our children at home because it's essential to their growth and development. Our preschool students are participating in in-house field trips. I know that Miss Kayla in room 6 and Miss Dina and then Miss Katie and Miss Jen in room 5 are thinking of things and people we can bring into the center because our preschoolers cannot leave the center. Same with Holly Ridge. They're bringing in-house field trips to the students because they can't exit the building to ride for a field trip. Communication, we want to make sure that our parents are using ProCare and that they understand how to use ProCare. So if you have a parent who's never responded to messages and you've been asking questions or sharing things and you just notice they've never written anything, maybe past when they come in and just ask, hey, do you know how to use ProCare? Or do you need a little help and support in using ProCare? The office would be happy to guide you on how to use the app because we want them to be included. You guys are sharing pictures and videos and messages and all kinds of wonderful information. But if they're not using the platform, then what's the point? Where you're doing all this wonderful work and you want to show it off, we want to make sure that they can access it. And also we send important messages from the office and we hate when a parent says, oh, I never knew, or no one ever told me. And right there it is in a message or a picture or a note. And we want to make sure that they are informed as you guys are wonderful with your communication. There's a photo highlight there of our school-age summer campers. They visited Arley Gardens, and that is one of the many field trips that Miss Barbie put together this summer for them. So I wanted to make sure that they saw that, and they appreciate the fact that Miss Barbie did this and did it for both schools. She did it for both summer programs, and they each have their own field trip calendars, and they're packed with fun, amazing things that they're able to do. Welcome to Sneads Ferry Quality and Holly Ridge Quality. Miss Barbara, co-teacher in room 8. I'm not sure if I introduced Miss Barbara last month, so she is again if I did. Miss Rhonda is joining Miss Barbara in room 8. They are now teaching partners, so we welcome Miss Rhonda, and we understand that a new room, new teachers, they do need a lot of support because if you don't know, you don't know, right? So if you notice something and you can help guide them into being successful, please do that because they sure encourage everyone who's going to support them so they can be successful in their classroom for the school year. We have Miss Zena who's joined us and she's going to be a co-teacher in room 6. We have Julia who is a high school apprentice and she is joining us and hopefully will become a Building Bright Futures apprentice and a youth apprentice and learn from there and go to school with us. Mr. Ricky is here for this summer and maybe he'll stick around, but right now it's for the summer as our musical instructor and flex teacher. New hires and reminders for everyone else. I say this every time, but if you are new and you didn't know, now you will know. Please do not park in that front row. It is for pickup and drop off for parents. I've noticed that some people park there you still may not know, so I'm chalking it up to that. But right now I am telling you, please don't park in that front row. We've had some parents with a toddler or an infant in their car seat and then 2 other kids walking from the house of breakfast over to drop their children off. We want to make sure that it's easy access. You as a parent, I want you to have easy access. You park, you drop your kid off, you get back in your car and you drive to work. You go park by Cancun in the second building. You can access the building through room 6. That gate is open and that door is typically ready for you until 9 a.m. So everyone should be in by 9 and you can have access to the building easily. Or you can walk across that cool little bridge and come through the front. Up to you, but please do not park in that front row. Clock in at most 5 minutes before your shift starts. I had the great pleasure of doing payroll and I noticed that some individuals were clocking in 15 minutes before their shift started. So it looked like they were getting overtime. And unless admin signs off on it, there is no approved overtime. So please make sure you are within that 5-minute range because it really adds up. It makes a big difference if you're doing 10, 15 minutes before your shift starts or before your lunch period ends, and then it adds up to be over an hour of overtime, which really wasn't overtime. It's just because you were early clocking in for your scheduled shift. So please make sure you're attentive to that. Always ask questions. If you don't ask the questions, if you don't share that you are inquisitive about something particular, then we cannot help you with that unless we are aware that you're, not aware of those things. But if we become aware, then we will try to support you the best we can. If we think that you got it, then we're going to let you be there and we're not going to really bug you with it. So please make sure you come to us if you have questions and be honest. Be honest with us, because if you're just saying, yeah, are great, it's fine, but it's really not fine, it's killing you inside, that's not going to help you. So please come and tell us. Flex teachers, when you enter a classroom, ask what you can do. How can I help? Where can I go? What do you need help with? And then they're going to direct you. But if you are a seasoned teacher and you've been with us, you should already know when someone enters your room and they haven't worked with you consistently, pretend they don't know. You are going to give explicit instruction. I know we have some new teachers who've joined us. Some have not been in particular age groups before or classrooms. So if you are the teacher of that classroom, please give them guidance and instruction so they can be of benefit to the classroom space. If you say, I'm going to do diapers and you're going to entertain kids, but they kind of stand there not knowing what to do, give them something explicit to do. Go grab a book from the library and you're going to sit with kids in blocks and you're just going to read. You're going to act really enthusiastic about the book and you're going to read to them. Okay, so you're going to sing these songs or pick some songs you know, and you guys are going to boogie, you're going to dance. But if you need to be explicit to that point, that means that person really doesn't have the training behind them. They don't have that knowledge. So some of you, it comes naturally. Some people have to learn. So if you see someone struggling, they're kind of sitting like a lump on a log, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt the first few weeks they're with us, and we're going to guide them and give them explicit instruction. Because once they get the expectation is here, you're not sitting, you're up here, you're engaging. You can sit with children and build and talk to them and share your thoughts and your structures with them. But then there's also sitting in a chair watching kids like this. I don't want that. That's not why I hire people. You are educators. You're working with children hands-on, and you're educating them every minute of the day that you can. Otherwise, you're doing something else that you must be doing, and you're talking to them, whatever you're doing. If you're doing COTS, you're still engaging with kids. That way, they're getting the most out of their learning environment. And you'll be surprised when kids are engaged and they're enthusiastic because you're enthusiastic. There's less incidents. There's happy classroom, and your students are not seeking attention in all the wrong ways. They're seeking attention in all the right ways because they want to engage with you and they want that positive energy back. So making sure that you have that give and take relationship in the classroom. Fantastic June attendance. Thanks to Miss Joyce. She went all the way back to school to get this list for us. So we have Adrian, Amanda, Amy, Andrea, Cheyenne, Amelia, Jojo, Nicole, Pam, Rachel, Raquel, Ruby, Stephanie, Barbie, Whitney, and Heather. So congratulations to you guys. You guys got a half day of PTO to use at your discretion. Just make sure it is in 2 weeks prior notice to the day you plan to be sick or whatever thing you're doing. So make sure it's always 2 weeks notice. Okay, so I'm going to talk about TriShare. TriShare is this wonderful program that was piloted, and I learned about it at one of my admin meetings. It is for the employees who do not qualify for subsidy, and that is many of us. Many of us are right above or somewhere above that percentage of the income requirements for subsidized care and vouchers. Some of us have military vouchers, and this might actually be more cost effective for you than the military vouchers, depending on the rank of the person in your household who is a part of the military branch. So what it is, it's called TriShare. So think 3, right? So we have the employee portion, the employer portion, and the state of North Carolina pays a portion. Thank you, state of North Carolina. So you as the employee, you're going to pay 33% of the tuition instead of 50% of the tuition. So if you're already paying 50% of childcare, because we only pay 50%, right? You're paying half of it. You're going to benefit from this flat out, right? You're just going to benefit because you're only paying 33% if you enroll in TriShare. The employer, that's us, we're going to pay 33%. And the state of North Carolina pays 33%. Now there's like a little bit of extra percentage in there because obviously 33 don't make 100. So it's 33 and a little. But all you have to do is enroll TriShare uses a program called TooTRiS, which I will show you in a second, and then TooTRiS determines if you are eligible. So all you have to do is like submit pay stubs after you enroll, and then it says, yeah, you qualify, and then you're good, you're golden, and we start contributing, and you only have to pay 33% instead of the 50% that you're already paying for childcare if you don't qualify for subsidy. So to be eligible, these are the salary levels. So I want you to pay close attention to the household sizes. If it's a two-person household, that means yourself and a child, two persons. If it's a three-person household, maybe that's you, your spouse, and one child, or you and two children. So you want to see the range of your income. This is the gross income, gross, right? Ew. But the max you make before taxes are taken out. So what does your pay stub say before all those income taxes, state taxes, federal taxes are taken out, which gives you a better chance of qualifying here. So say I got, how many kids I got? I have 4 kids and 2 adults. So I have a 6-person household. So that means I make this range here and I would qualify for TriShare. If you make a little less, if you make a little more, you will come see me and talk to me. But I say apply. There is no harm in applying. The worst they can say is you don't qualify. And sometimes you might have a side gig that gets you a little bit more and then you do qualify. Or maybe you're thinking about some other income that really doesn't apply and you're in this range. I don't know who makes more than that, but just making sure that if you have questions, you come ask, because I want to make sure that if you are on the verge of being accepted and you qualify, I'm going to get you there because I want to make sure that you benefit from this. All right, so for TooTRiS, their lovely little logo on top of the page, you're going to go onto that link. I've had the link on all 3 slides that I've showed so far. It's tootris.com, and then you can go in and click to apply as a family. You're going to fill out the create your free account to get started. Very easy. It's just your basic contact information. When you get in there, I'm going to pretend that I'm applying because I want to show you some components. So let me get into, is my mouse going to work? Hi, mouse. No, not going to work. Okay. So I'm going to pull up TooTRiS for you, and I want to make sure that you see what you would need to do. Okay, so I'm going to sign up for free. See how it says new to TooTRiS? Yes, I'm new. I'm going to sign up for free. And then I'm going to click that I am a family parent, right? And I'm going to complete this information here. So let's say my name is Shannon. Oh, my email address, my password. Oh, it's going to say that I already created an account. Hold on. My zip code, phone number. Oops, because I can't type my phone number. Okay, preferred language. I speak English today. And sign up. Okay. So it's going to send you a verification. It goes to your email. Once you get in there, then you're going to be able to log in for Reels. I'm going to show you that. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Goodness gracious. They're making me nervous. I can't type. Okay. Eden. Okay. So I created an account earlier. It was that simple, right? It sends me the confirmation email, and here I am. Now, they're still working out some technical glitches with our centers because we have 3 centers, and I tried to tell them 2 email addresses for 3 centers by accident. So they tried to put all the Sneaks Ferry under SFQCC@outlook.com, and that obviously didn't work. So they're fixing all that. But if you register yourself and create your account, then you can kind of play around with it and see where you need care. So we're going to search for there. We're going to search families. And I'm going to search for a provider. Now, they're going to give you a list of people who have become providers. So these are nanny services, I guess. Provider type, I'm going to click center. And then it's gonna, not today, but ours will pop up. So you'll have Sneeds Ferry 1, Sneeds Ferry 2 will show up. Okay, and then Noah's Ark is there. Good for them. See, the word is out. So it'll let you choose. So say I want to choose Noah's Ark. I hear good things. And then we go into Noah's Ark. This is for everyone who doesn't have subsidy vouchers. I'm going to have you apply. So don't think you're out scot-free because you benefit from this. And it's not that difficult to do it. It will say no immediate openings, and I'm not sure where they get this information from, but ours will say the same. For some reason, it always thinks everyone's full. But you can request information there. Call this provider. But what we're going to do is I'm going to just have the list for people on TooTRiS to accept you. So you have to have your account first, and then I'm going to send TooTRiS representatives. Here are my employees. Yes, I'm accepting them because their children are already enrolled, and I want them to have the TooTRiS approval. So I just need you to enroll yourselves, and then I'm going to communicate back and forth with the TooTRiS representatives, and they will get you enrolled in our center, and you will only have to pay 33% of your tuition fees instead of the 50%. So I want everyone who doesn't have subsidy, you're going to create a TooTRiS account because it took me, 15 seconds? I had typos. So it should take you no time at all. You're going to confirm it, have your account, don't lose your information, and then I will get you on the list so you only have to pay 33% of your childcare expenses instead of the 50%. I really hope you take advantage of this. I obviously can't force you, but I strongly encourage you to do it. Okay. And there's the website right there. So when I send the PowerPoint later, you just click it and get busy. All right. Let's move on. So, I found a little video. It's not for our state, but it does give you an overview of TooTRiS and the benefits and how it all works down here. So if you choose to watch this little snippet, it's Discover TooTRiS, gives you an introduction. It also goes into what the providers do if you're interested on what I have to do. But they will ask you for paychecks or pay stubs for income for all the parents, guardians of the household. So if you have your pay stub available on Friday, then just make sure you have access to it. I think they even take photos and screenshots. You don't even have to print it. You can just send them that when the portal opens and they need to see if you qualify. But first, just create your account and you'll be golden. Okay. Music instruction with Mr. Ricky. We want to make sure that everyone is using it effectively, right? It's a meaningful time for you. Mr. Ricky comes in and provides meaningful music instruction to your class. What do you do with that hour? Well, glad you asked. It is your planning and prep time. You get 1 hour ideally. Obviously, there's setup for the kid, making sure that he and the co-teacher are good to go, and then you step away and do what you need to do. This is your time to do your self-studies because they're going to be due very soon. So if you didn't start your self-study, don't tell me, but get it done, please, when Mr. Ricky comes in during active rest, because the next steps of the self-study I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And you can't do the next steps until you do the self-study packet. It is very straightforward, the self-study. So you just have to answer the questions in the packet. Think about your instruction as a team or as on your own. I suggest you work together, lead and co-teachers together, so you can have a collaborative plan as a classroom, right? So you don't want to mess it up where one person's thinking this way, another person's thinking this way. You want to come together. That's my suggestion to you. Use it for lesson planning. You can always plan for the following week or weeks ahead. You can fill out your supply checklists so that you need things, materials for your room, your wish list for your room to get ready for the new school year. Obviously, wish lists are wish lists, but if you put them together and I can make it happen for you, I will make it happen for you. So get those together. And then work on your student files and paperwork. You have those portfolios. You have things that have yet to be filed or put away from the previous year. Make sure you're going into August with a clean slate. So whatever you need to do with that planning time, use it effectively. Okay, if we don't see it being used effectively, we will definitely provide you with tasks, but I don't want to tell you what to do. I want you to choose where your priorities lie so you use it meaningful time. Okay. One teacher remains with Mr. Ricky and engages with the students. So you're not abandoning Mr. Ricky, or one of you is still with him. And what my suggestion is, if both of you want to use that time, obviously split it. 30 minutes for one teacher, 30 minutes for the other teacher. Use it effectively. And we're trying to make this so that it is something that is not offered often. So we want to make sure that you are using it and it is a time that is meaningful to you. Can't say it enough. Meaningful time, effective use of time. Utilize it. Mr. Plan A. Okay, so Plan A. Mr. Ricky comes in with his lesson plan, right? It goes great. Everyone's engaged. All the kids love that lesson plan. They're totally active that whole hour, almost the whole hour. Fantastic. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes you're 10 minutes into Mr. Ricky's lesson and your kids decide they want to go into La La Land or they're wandering over here. That's okay. Not everyone has to participate in music instruction. But if you wind up losing the whole group because something happens and there's a more interesting things over there, just run with it. Run with it. Be flexible. Mr. Ricky's going to be flexible. He's in there to support the classroom. The ideal situation is to do the music instruction lesson. But if music instruction is just not on their plan for the day, that's okay. Be flexible. Go into centers with them if you are the teacher who is in with Mr. Ricky, and Mr. Ricky can do music instruction with those students who are still interested in music instruction. When you're in the centers, you're engaging with your students. So just make it time that is still meaningful. Mr. Ricky's doing music instruction, and then you're with a whole group of other kids who maybe didn't want to do music instruction for the full hour. And that's okay. That's okay. But it's a time to make sure that you're still engaging with students. And I want to make sure that's very clear. Okay. So I said we're going to talk about self-study. So here it is. Here are the true steps of the self-study. Sorry, Cheyenne asked, is there a deadline? Yes, I did give a deadline. It was last week or the week before, so we're just going to pretend it was last week and everyone should have their self-studies done last week. And then we can continue. So the self-assessment is your self-study packet, that big packet. Stephanie gave them all out. If you need another one, ask someone in the office, or you can go onto that website that I put right there on the slide, ncrlab.org/resources self-study center, and click the one you want pertaining to your age group, either Eckers or Itters, and fill it out. Miss Shelley comes in. She works with our Itters teachers. She has tried to keep up and make sure that you guys are on board and on task with your self-studies. Dr. Sonia has just recently come back to join us, so she hasn't had the time to catch up with you on your self-studies. So I'm going to ask that our admin team are the ones who really maintain the Eckers group because they haven't had as much support as our Itters group. So just checking in, making sure that you are where you should be with your self-study, which is the packet should be pretty much done. And then we're moving on to the reflection portion. There's a reflection form, then there's a planning form, SMART goals form, and an action form. Now, all of these are just templates and ways for you to process your thinking. You don't have to be super detailed with reflection, planning, SMART goals, and action form, but I do need them complete. So however your thought process works, if you'd rather use loose leaf paper to write down what your goals are and what you're going to do to accomplish those goals, which is the action form, that's fine, but you have to be able to save it. Oh, the TooTRiS program. There is no deadline. There's no deadline for TooTRiS, but I do encourage everyone to try it out this week so that I can go over enrolling and then I can give the TooTRiS group, the representatives, my whole list of staff who have enrolled and want to take advantage of it. If you have a child at a different child care center, like Miss Cheyenne, I suggest you tell your child care center where your child's enrolled about it because they benefit too. So there's no harm in, I mean, really, I applied in 5 seconds, but I just had a technical error. So you can easily enroll as a child care provider. They have to be licensed. And then you as the parent benefit from that and they benefit from it as well. Okay. So these are the steps, and I want to make sure that it's all clear. So I'm going to show you a short video about the reflection process. So pretend, here's your pretend bubble, right? We're in the thought bubble. You completed your self-study packet, and you are now ready for the reflection portion. We're going to identify strengths and areas to change or improve, and there's going to be some research needed, but the research really isn't like opening a textbook and figuring things out. It's what trainings could we do? What admin could I talk to? What teacher who has a bit more experience in this field can I speak with? So I'm going to show this video. It's only 4 minutes long, but I want you to really take in what the reflection portion is, because if you don't have the reflection, then you cannot continue to make your goals and then act on accomplishing the goals. Okay.
By the way, you actually only have, when did you start symptoms?
Hold on. I'm going to chit chat.
So your fact is from yesterday. Huh?
Hold on. How do I mute everybody again? Here we go. Mute all. All right, here we go. Now we can watch.
Once you've completed your self-assessment, the next step is reflection, thinking about what's going well and what can be improved. This means looking through your notes and documentation to compare your current practices with expectations. The Thinking More worksheets or the report from your outreach assessment are a great starting point. They help identify key takeaways, but you'll probably want to dig a little deeper. That might involve reading more about a topic, attending a training, or checking out helpful resources. Some self-study models treat reflection and research as separate steps, but in practice, they often go hand in hand. As you reflect, you'll naturally start thinking about what to work on first. You don't need to figure it out all at once. Just begin building a list of areas to explore now and in the future. Doing a bit of research now will help you move into the planning step with confidence and direction. Let's look at an example. Say your self-assessment shows that the nature science area isn't being used much, and there hasn't been much new activity there lately. You might decide to focus on adding different materials to the science area, asking the children what they would like to see, planning nature or science activities, or using richer science-related language with children, both indoors and out. If your outdoor space includes natural areas, that's a great opportunity to expand learning in a fun and meaningful way. Start by reviewing your documentation. What's already in place? What have others, such as co-teachers or TAs, shared that could still be helpful? Then, look back at the specific rating scale item that relates to this area, including the notes for clarification and NC additional notes. Also, take a look at North Carolina's Foundations for Early Learning and Development for ideas that align with your children's age group and developmental needs. Your program may also have curriculum guides, books, or other internal resources that can support your next steps. As you reflect and begin exploring resources, you might realize you need more specific ideas, like nature science activities that are age appropriate, or ways to spark children's interest. You could start by doing an internet search or finding a webinar or training. Local TA agencies, your CCR&R, or our website, ncrlap.org, might have exactly what you're looking for. As you explore, write down any new questions or ideas that come up. These will be helpful during the planning step. You'll probably find that this topic is broader than it seems at first. Resources could spark ideas for outdoor science play, sensory materials such as sand and water, or creative ways to introduce scientific thinking. As you go, take notes on what stands out, what you want to try, or what you might want to ask about later. Good documentation now will make your next step, planning, much easier. As always, contact NCR-LAP if you have any questions. We're available by phone at 866-362-7527, by email at ncrlap.
Okay, so like they said, and I'm just going to show the image, that they documented. You can see this person wrote on, looks like index cards, loose leaf paper, and that's how they wrote through their process. You do not have to use all these forms. It's just easier to use the forms that they provide on NCR Lab because it's truly guided for you. But if you don't think that way and you like to do something else, just make sure that the information that are on the forms is in what you're using. You got the NC Foundations. Every classroom should have that book. You can also get it online in a PDF. If you haven't seen the PDF online, it is very easy to use because what I love to do is Control F and then you find keywords. So if your activities, like they were saying, was about the science activity area in your center, then you're going to want to focus on things that happen to be with asking questions, being inquisitive, different ways that you can have science exploration and knowledge included in the classroom. So that simple keyword search with Control F will give you an ability to find that keyword throughout NC Foundations, and then you can search easier than having to go through the book. Some people love the book, some people love the PDF. And then you can find out specific requirements, and then you have any resources and connections. We have tons of trainings, webinars. We have our TAs who come. You have seasoned veterans, and you have admin. So there are many resources that don't have to be, oh, I have to take a college course for this, or oh, I have to take a webinar. You don't have to take a webinar. You can Google search and find some really interesting things and ways to improve and set goals for yourself from those areas. So you want to, with your reflection, what successes can I celebrate? So what are you doing really well so far in the classroom? Don't forget, you are doing extremely well. This self-study is to guide you into being even better in what you're doing each and every day. What specific areas would I like to focus on during this self-study cycle? How will I work on this impact in my classroom? So what are the steps, maybe 2 or 3 steps that you will take to accomplish the goal of what you're setting forth? And where do I need, in addition to training or support? So besides trainings and webinars, what might you need from admin? What might you need from us? So we're going to use the self-assessment tool. So that packet of self-study, you either chose activity, literacy, or the outreach program, right? Then you're going to reflect on what you found doing that self-study. Oh, I found what that person found. I don't really put emphasis and highlight the science center as much. It's really struggling in my classroom. No one goes to it. It's not something that we are enthusiastic about in the classroom. I want to fix that. I want to change that for the positive. So think about an area of focus that will have an impact on the classroom. That's the area. That's what that person chose, and they're going with it. You don't have to think too broadly. You can be very specific. That way the goal is obtainable to you too. You can be very direct, and you can be focused on how you're going to accomplish your goal. This is the reflection form. So again, it's from NCR Lab. It's all there for you, and we can print it and then you use it, or you can do reflection in a different way if you choose, but make sure you keep the documentation. So this form is to summarize key points from completing the outreach assessment form or the Thinking More worksheet. So from that packet of self-study, you're going to take 3 key points that you noticed from that whole packet. So you're trying to bring it down to something that's manageable. Based on your reflection, identify 1 or 2 specific practices or areas you would like to focus on strengthening. So one that person would have put was the science center. Maybe another was going to be the math center. They don't really put much focus on math center. So then how will these benefit your classroom? So how will focusing and emphasizing your science center benefit your classroom? Your children will become more enthusiastic about sciences. You can then delve into experiments and STEM learning. You can make sure that that field is highlighted for all genders. So like sometimes they say, and they do, this is a statistic, that not many females are interested in the field of science. So maybe you want to make sure that you're highlighting books on female scientists, that there are famous female scientists. You can put images there of them, and then things that your children can manipulate in the science center that would be of interest to them. Very simple things. You don't have to go crazy. Things they can use day in and day out. And then maybe every week you're going to tie in a science experiment or a science project for them. And it can be very simple, like putting color drops on paper towels with water, and then you have the stems that absorb the color, and then you can see the color change in the flowers. So things like that, we can produce those things for you. We can provide those items, and then you can bring them into your classroom. Even making sensory bottles, you can make that into a science experiment, talking about the different compositions of each item you're putting in. This is a solid, this is a liquid, and then you can put them together and you make a sensory bottle. So this is our planning section. I am going to show you this video. It's 3 minutes long, 3 minutes, 25 seconds, but this is going to be the next step. So you reflected, and then now you're going to plan next steps. So I want to make sure it's very clear of what everything is expected, because come July 31st, I'm putting that request in to be assessed, and I want to make sure everyone is on board and they are ready to go, that you're not forgetting anything on this process of the self-study. So it's all right here. You can always come back to this video and this PowerPoint.
Welcome to part 4 of an introduction to self-study focused on the environment rating skills. Now that you've completed the reflection, the next step in the self-study process is planning. Planning is about deciding what changes you want to make and how you'll do them. You'll want to document your action plan. This could be a simple list, a worksheet from our website, or a form your program already uses. It's important to be realistic. Some goals, like updating or changing displays, can be quick wins. Others, like improving adult-child interactions or transitions, might take longer and require more effort. A balanced plan includes a mix of easier tasks and longer-term goals. Planning isn't about finding one perfect solution. It's about being creative and using what you already know about your children and setting to move forward. To make your plan more effective, use the SMART goal approach. That means your goals should be specific. Break large ideas into focused, concrete steps. Measurable. Know how you'll track your progress or your success. Attainable. Make sure the goal is realistic, considering what's possible with your resources. Relevant. Keep your plans focused on the goal without adding too many unrelated ideas. Time-bound. Set deadlines and regular check-ins so you can reflect and adjust. Now let's look at an example of developing a SMART goal. Here's a quick example. Let's say your self-assessment showed that outdoor play wasn't very active and children were mostly wandering or inactive, especially on bad weather days. You want to increase physical activity and engagement. A SMART goal might be, I will lead a choice-based, energetic game every day during gross motor time, including bad weather days, and will participate actively with the children. Here's how it fits the SMART framework. Specific. You're choosing one action, leading an energetic game, and one strategy, joining in yourself. Measurable. You can ask yourself, did I do this every day this week? Who joined? Attainable. It's doable with some prep. Have a few go-to games or indoor options ready. Relevant. The goal is clearly about increasing physical activity, not something unrelated like literacy. Time-bound. You can review progress in a week or two and adjust if needed. This planning and goal-setting process helps make self-study actionable. With the right support, realistic steps, and clear follow-through, you'll be able to turn ideas into meaningful changes for your classroom and your children. Contact NCR LAP.
Okay, thank you for watching that part. So it's very straightforward, those SMART goals. You've heard SMART goals before. We used to use them. Now we have a different planning path for professional development, but it's very easy to maintain a SMART goal because it's all there for you. So the planning form here is from NCR LAP again. You're going to list a few ideas of how to start working toward the goal. 2 or 3 ideas of what you're going to do. Training, speak with admin, speak with a seasoned teacher. There's 3 things right there. I just gave you the answer. Think about what is needed. What are you going to need? What kind of resources are you going to need? Are you going to need device to watch trainings? Are you going to need more time to do that? Are you going to need specific materials and resources? Evidence. How will you know your plan is working? What are you going to see in your classroom? So say you were doing the science center and that was the goal. And you wanted to make that more desirable and engaging for your students. So describe 1 to 2 examples that you will look for as you start the process. So how do you know it's going to work? What are you going to see? What are you going to hear? So what are your observations to know that it is working? Your children go and choose that center often, that your children ask for that center often, and then maybe that you see more children finding interest in specific components of that center. So then you'll know it's working. The goal setting form. This is the SMART goals form that they just shared. It's very straightforward. They give you an example here. So you're going to put yours here, and using the example, you're really just going to write what pertains to your goal. Okay, so after all that, my goal is to increase engagement of my science center. So what exactly do you want to accomplish? More children engaged and enthralled by Science Center. And then how you know it's working? More children choose that center and spend more time in that center. Achievable. Is this goal realistic and attainable? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, we'll definitely make sure that there's more materials and accessories, and we highlight components and teach about those aspects of the Science Center. How does the goal align with best practice? And you can talk about the NC FELD. You can talk about those standards that it would address. Pop them in there. And what it will increase in their engagement, their interest in science, their inquisitiveness, and their research-based learning. Then you have, when will the goal be implemented? Well, maybe it'll take place tomorrow, because it just takes a couple components and you getting excited about Science Center, and then you can add more materials and things as time progresses. So you don't have to get started with it 2 weeks from now. You can start with it tomorrow. Okay, so this is the ACT and the self-access. Sorry. So this is the last part. And I want to show it to you so then you have the whole picture of the self-study. This is the action plan portion.
Once how you do it. Some changes may be quick, like rotating materials or adjusting your schedule. Others, especially those involving interactions, routines, or teaching practices, take more time because they involve building new habits. Don't get discouraged if results aren't immediate. Just like adults, children need time to adjust to new routines and expectations. Stick with it long enough to see consistent results. Make small tweaks as needed, but allow time for changes to settle in before deciding something doesn't work. Let's go back to our earlier example in part 4 of increasing physical activity by starting a daily choice-based energetic game. The action step here is to offer those games regularly, gather any materials you need, and actively join in to model engagement and enthusiasm. As you go, continue to document. This doesn't have to be complicated. A simple checklist showing whether the activity happened is a great start. You might also jot down how many children participated, how long the game lasted, or note children's reactions. If something doesn't go as planned, don't worry. Use reflective problem solving. Maybe the activity didn't encourage as much movement as expected. In that case, consider variations or alternate games that align better with your goal. Photos can be a useful part of documentation too. Just make sure to include a quick caption explaining what's happening. And if you're working with a co-teacher or TA, consider inviting them to observe and share feedback. As you implement, new ideas will naturally come up. That's great. Just try not to introduce too many changes at once. You want to be able to clearly see what's working and why. Documenting your progress helps track what made a difference and ensures those ideas don't get lost. Once you've taken action, the self-study process comes full circle. You return to self-assessment. This isn't just the last step, it's the start of a new cycle. Now is the time to evaluate. Did your plan work? Did it meet your goals? And what might you focus on next? Even if you're not starting another full cycle right away, reflecting on the process you just completed is essential. Ask yourself, was there growth? Did the actions make a meaningful difference? Think big picture. Were there improvements overall? Revisit your plan and look at each phase. Did your self-assessment tool help you identify meaningful goals? Were you honest and open during reflection? Did your goals align with what you wanted to change? Were your plans realistic and carried out fully? If something didn't go as expected, don't be discouraged. Instead, recognize what you've learned, celebrate progress, and use that insight moving forward. Let's apply the full cycle to an example. Say you've noticed restlessness and challenging behaviors during transitions, especially before meals or outdoor time. Start with self-assessment. Use the ERS to review standards around transitions and compare them to what's happening in your classroom. Write down the schedule and observe what actually happens during transitions over a few days. Next, reflect. What makes these transitions hard? Are children waiting too long? Are routines unclear? Then do a little research. Maybe you'll find ideas like picture schedules, staggered transitions, or individualized prompts that better support certain children. Then you plan. Pick a few strategies to try over the next few weeks. Maybe you'll set a timer for cleanup or prepare small activities for kids who are ready early. Keep your plan visible and targeted. Then act. Put your plan into place, encourage consistency, and document what's working. Be ready to adjust and note how different children respond, especially those who struggle the most. Finally, evaluate again. Did things improve? If so, what helped most? If not, what else might you try? Even small progress matters, and sometimes one child's needs drive the biggest solutions. As a reminder, self-study is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey. Children grow and change, and so do we. The most important part of this process is what it leads to: actual improvement in practice and outcomes for children. Choose tools and strategies that work for you. And remember, you are the expert in your environment. Your insights and relationships with children are the heart of this process.
Okay. So thank you for watching that one. And I think that sums it all up, that it has the whole process. I love that they gave an example of transitions being something that they wanted to work on that can be improved in every classroom. Transitions are difficult, especially when children have to wait for something. So if you want to make that your focus and your goal and how you're going to improve in your classroom environment, they gave you really good examples right there. Go back into this video and watch it yourself, or go into NCR Lab on the self-study portion and watch it, and then use their template to guide your goal setting. So it could be done for you now. Okay. So you want to ask yourselves, what specific steps are you going to use to make this take place? You don't have to go crazy. 3 steps, perfect amount of steps. What part of your plan worked after implementing these steps? So with the transitions, maybe you want to use the box of Mighty Minutes and you want to use a couple examples throughout the week and implement Mighty Minutes. If you want to do research on Google to find things that are similar to Mighty Minutes for your specific age group. If you need to learn more songs to sing with them, if you need to catch their attention with a chant, if you guys are too busy doing COTS and other things and you're not really engaging with the students, and that's when most incidents are happening or children are up out of their seat finding things they want to do, then maybe you need to be able to focus on what can you do to accommodate those children who are waiting while you're still accomplishing your tasks of putting COTS out and making sure everyone else is taken care of, hand washing, potty, all that good stuff. So thinking as a team, that's why I want you to work together as a collaborative team, because as co-teachers, you guys want to make sure your classroom environment is successful. And that's why this self-study, the goal setting, is something that you can do collaboratively together for the betterment of your classroom. Okay. So your action form, what are your action steps? This person put 4 action steps. You can put 3 action steps, but here are the examples for you. Who's responsible? The target date. When do you want to have seen this being accomplished by? So obviously this is going to take a little bit of time. So 2, 3 weeks, a month, what timeline? Now it's not hard set in stone. It's just something you're writing down so that it's in your brains. We can get this done. It's just going to take this long, realistically. Resources needed. What are you going to need from us? What are you going to need from yourselves? What are you going to need for your students? And evidence. How are you going to see that it's successful? If it's transitions, you're going to see children waiting patiently and engaging in whatever you're doing during the transition effectively. So not everyone's running around trying to find different things that they want to do. They're jumping all over, causing chaos. What did you implement that is now taking place and making sure that the structure of the classroom isn't lost while you're trying to be productive? You still have to engage with those kids. So what are you going to do to keep them engaged while you're staying busy completing your tasks? That's the one example of transition. All right, reminders. I say this all the time. Make sure your lesson plans are signed by Friday, posted. So Monday morning, they're ready to go on the wall. Menus should be in your mailboxes so you can post them before Monday morning. Whiteboards are always updated when new children enter your space. Some classrooms have their outdoor whiteboards that are updated. Whatever whiteboard you're using at that time, just make sure it is current with the children in your class. The back of your whiteboard should have your list of children with their first and last names and their ages. So if you don't have that from the meal program sheet copied and taped onto the back of your whiteboard, make sure that you ask Miss Stephanie and she'll get that for you, because I know some classrooms have changed their enrollment, so you might need to have that updated. All purses and phones should be locked in the closet. I've had to talk to a couple teachers to put their phones in their mailboxes because they were just so inclined to touch the phone. So please don't touch the phone. If you want to help yourself and put it in your mailbox, great. Just make sure it's silenced or off. If people need you in an emergency from outside of school, they should have the office phone number. They should be calling the office to contact you so we can run you a phone. Because when you're working with children, you shouldn't have the phone with you. And if you have an emergency outside of school, we want to make sure that you get that message and you're able to take a phone call. So we come get you and we cover for you. If you answer a phone call or you answer a text and you're supposed to be supervising children, number one, we're going to have a big discussion. But number two, supervision was an issue, and then we can't accommodate you as well as if we were to bring you the phone and cover for you, because it was a big no-no to interact with the phone. All right. Supply list every Wednesday. Miss Brittany's back, so she's going to start filling those supply lists again. Thank you to those who took care and organized the supply list. Oh, in addition, Miss Susan wanted to offer a nice compliment to everybody for doing such a fantastic job in the main building. You're closing down your room so well. It makes her cleaning and deep cleaning of the building each evening go much more smoothly. She's one person and she cleans all 10 classrooms, the kitchen, the office, the hallways, the bathrooms. So when you make sure that your classroom is ready for her, it makes it so much easier for her. So thank you ahead of time. And those who cleaned Holly Ridge while Mr. Johnny was gone, thank you so much. It was beautiful. We had parents complimenting how well you did. So thank you for maintaining and making sure it's nice and clean while he was gone, and everyone who goes above and beyond in doing that. So thank you very much. Make sure, obviously, you're coming back from lunch on time. It's difficult, I know. Sometimes you have to stand around, so I can appreciate those of you who are waiting to clock in within those 5 minutes. We never restrain children. We guide them with a flat hand on their back. If they're willing to hold your hand, then they can hold your hand. But if they drop down, we do not want dislocated shoulders or nurses' elbows. So as soon as a child attempts to drop down, you guide them down, let them be down. And when they're ready, you tell them, when you're ready, I will talk to you. When your body is calm and ready, I can help you. And then that prompts them that it's their job now to get themselves together, and then you can help them. They're not going to be helped when they're distraught, kicking, screaming, crying, throwing their body around. You're just going to make sure everyone takes their bodies away, and then you can address that child when they're ready, because you don't want to get hurt and you don't want anyone else to get hurt. And you always call admin when you have those situations so we can come assist you. Either we work with that child or you work with that child and we take the rest of those itty bitties and make sure everyone else is safe. Make sure you're always checking those heinies and checking those faces. We don't want to send children home with snotty noses, yucky stuff from breakfast and lunch all crusted on them. No way, Jose. Please make sure you have a pack of wipes in your emergency backpack outside so you can wipe down a face. You can make sure there's no snot. You show the parent, oh, let me check them real quick. They were going to be changed soon or next. Let me make sure they're clean and dry for you to take them home. That shows consideration, that shows care. Even if it's not going to be their time for diapering, you want to make sure that you are attentive to that child because the parent sees them get dropped off and they only see them during pickup. They don't know all the wonderful things you're doing throughout the day unless you're bombarding them with photos and messages, right? So a parent who drops off a crying child envisions their child is crying all day long. So it's good we send those pictures. It's wonderful that we update them and say, hey, they calmed down, they're playing. Here's a picture of them playing. They're having a grand old time. But come the end of the day, it's a long day. They're crying because they're exhausted now. The parent sees crying in the morning. They see crying in the evening. So you showing that attentiveness to their child, that you truly care, you're making sure their face is clean, you're playing and engaging with them, but you're also checking to make sure they're nice and dry before they go home. Let me just make sure they're coming up next for diaper time. That means a lot to them because they only see those things. They see those interactions. They don't see your whole day for the most part. Supervision, please make sure you are always stationed in the classrooms facing inward. So there's one person sitting in this corner of the classroom, there's one person over here engaging with children in this corner, and you're both facing inward. So you see everything happening in your peripheral in front of you. No one should be turning their back to the rest of the classroom because then you're not seeing any of that happen. So when you're washing hands, you kind of have to get creative and wash your hands sideways, whatever you're going to do to make sure that you are always facing the classroom environment and the playgrounds too. We are stationing ourselves on playgrounds. Please do not turn and chit chat to coworkers because the moment you do that, you're talking over the fence to somebody, something happens. Oh, I didn't see it. Why didn't you see it? When I review that video, I want to see that you were attentive, you were engaged, and you were supervising. Please and thank you. I love standing on top of the playground structures too. When you're supervising children on top of the playground structures and you can see it all, nice bird's eye view behind the structure, in front of the structure. That's a great place for someone to set up. Incidents can be reduced, making sure that we are always engaged and supervising. That's what I want to make sure we're doing. So those bites are reduced, those injuries, those incidents, and the behaviors where they're seeking attention, they're already getting positive attention. That's what we want to see. Every document that you fill out that's an incident report or non-injury report, they're all legal documents. So you got to write in black ink or blue ink, but we prefer black ink, and making sure that the parents are aware you're taking a photo of every incident report, every non-injury report, every bite report. You're taking a picture and putting on ProCare so they can't say, oh, I didn't know. If there's a stack of them in the child's take-home pocket, you still sent the photos and they see them. They knew. They should have known, but they're there and they should have been signed. And then they can't say they didn't know when we're having a conversation about their child needs to be sent home. I'm sorry, but 2 bites in a day, they get sent home for the rest of the day. 4 bites in a week, they get sent home for the rest of the week. I have something to stand on, a leg to stand on if you have all that documentation on ProCare. And they are aware, they just did not choose to see the communications. Okay, so when you're filling out a meal program sheet, I know sometimes you get new students, please write their names in, last name, then first name, and you're going to put an X when they are offered a meal. So if they're in the building, you're offering the meal to them. If they're off the food program, if they're bringing stuff themselves, if they have a dietary restriction, you still offered the meal. Then you're going to circle an X if you made a mistake. Don't use whiteout, don't cross it out. Just circle it. So that's why there's a little circled X over here to show you when you make a mistake, you circle it. At the end of the day, you're doing your counts, counting them all up, right? And then at the end of the week, you are signing and dating. Okay, so make sure that these are good to go every Friday, ready to be turned into the office. Okay, so staff children. We are always making sure that staff children are treated just like our other students. Please don't talk to a parent during the school day about their child's and you want them to discipline their child during the day. That's an admin job, right? Those parents are at work. So this never happens to me, but just so everybody knows, I'm using myself as an example. So say Miss Amy, she's my child's teacher. She comes and says, you know, Mikey and Adam, they were just off the wall. And can you just go talk to them? Not my job. I'm at work. We have to talk to another administrator so they can handle the issue. Now, if I happen to hear my child's name or I'm walking in and I see my child being a problem, I'm going to handle my kid. That's just me. Everybody else, they are a parent at work and we communicate with admin and then you can write them messages on ProCare. They can respond through ProCare. I'm a little different because I'm around all the time. So if I hear my kid or I see my kid acting foolish, I'm going to address it. But everybody else, they're in their classroom, they're in their bubble. Please message them like you would another parent on ProCare. If it becomes an admin issue because you need to have a conference with that parent, same deal. You tell admin, we set up the conference and we have a meeting with that parent because they are still a parent of a child at our school, a student. We want to make sure they are treated as such. Sometimes there gets to be a gray area. So just they went to work. We can't talk to mommy right now, but we're going to message them on ProCare so they're aware of the situation. Logical consequences. We talk about this all the time. Please do not take food away as a consequence. We never take food away. That is something we cannot do. However, if they don't clean up, they can't go outside until their space is clean. That is a logical consequence. If a natural consequence is when a kid is running in the classroom and they trip, that's a natural, nature happened. But logical is when it makes sense and it takes place after something that occurs. So they didn't want to clean, they have to clean before they're allowed to go outside. You can call for us, hey, Mikey didn't want to clean. He has to stay inside while everyone else gets to go outside. You'll see how fast that kid's going to clean as soon as they realize everyone's going outside and they're stuck inside with me. So we want to make sure that we follow through. If you say they can't go out until they clean their mess, you don't cave because the moment you cave, that's it. They're walking all over you every time. They're expecting you to cave. So we say what we mean what we say, and we follow through with it. You call an admin for reinforcements, or you and your co-teacher work it out to what's going to happen next. Whether you keep a couple kids inside and you want to just man that child and the other kids are doing fun stuff on the side, whatever, but make sure you follow through. We don't do empty threats because they will read right into it. Okay, these are resources for logical consequences if you need them. Behavioral anticipation. Oh, we're not going to do this, but there's a video there that I'll go over maybe in August. Behavioral expectations, we're going to talk about them when you start your school year, right? What do we expect in the classroom? Tones and phrasing. I don't want to hear anyone saying no, sir, anymore. We're going to state what you expect. We sit on the carpet. We use walking feet. Now you can give them two positive choices. Use walking feet, or you can tiptoe, or you can march. But we're going to make sure that we're stating what is an acceptable behavior in the classroom. If you tell them what not to do, if they're 3 years old or 2-year-olds, they are only hearing the not item. So don't run. They're going to hear run. They're going to bolt. If you say use walking feet, or we can tiptoe and you model with them, you will be so surprised on how they mimic. And then they're going to start to implement it when you use that phrasing. Please refrain from telling them what not to do. You want to tell them what you want to see. What are 2 things that you would say yes to? Give them 2 choices. If there's always a battle and a power struggle, give them the 2 positive choices. I would love to see you implementing this because I think you're going to see success in your classroom instead of telling them no, sir, or don't do this. We're going to talk about what we do want to see them do. What's the expectation? All right. So classroom school year assignments, I wanted to share this. I know I'm running late, so please excuse me. If you got to go, then you got to go. But I wanted to make sure everyone saw. This is the idea. Let's hope it doesn't change. But this is my ideal situation for the school year. I wanted to make sure everybody was informed because I want to be transparent about where everyone is going. So right now, this is the plan. Holly Ridge, There's still some flexibility there because we have to wait for enrollment at Holly Ridge. So those classroom assignments may or may not change. Miss Barbie handles all that, but I think this is going to be the idea for the building. On Sneeze Ferry, that's a lot to take in. If you see, I have 2 hiring highlights, one for our infant room and one for school age. If you are a full-time teacher at Sneeze Ferry and you would like the opportunity to work with school age, please let us know, because we are going to wind up hiring someone to take a teaching position who will then also be with school age. So if you're a person who's in Sneeze Ferry and you're like, hey, I love school age, I want to drive, you got to drive, then please tell us. Okay, so that right there is flexible for someone who's working with us currently. The one that I do have to hire for is my infant room lead teacher position, because I need someone with the credentials, with the experience, who can work in that room. School year prep, please make sure you're giving me the supply list, the wish list. You want to prepare for students. We're going to have our teacher work day on Friday, August 21st from 8 to 4, but I want to make sure that you are going to be ready for that day. Don't show up on the 21st and be like, oh man, I got to make all those labels. What a waste of a day for you. That's something you can do during rest. That's something that we can help you with. There's a flex teacher who's free for an hour. They can start that process. So start jotting down your list of what you need to get done. So come Friday, August 21st, you are then prepping your room. So Monday's the first day of school and you're ready. All you really had to do was organize your room, put your labels up, make sure your student names are on there, and you're good to go. Or your cot map is out, things like that. Those that might take a little more time once you get your class list, but labeling your centers, labeling your bins, that can all happen before the 21st. We have all of these resources. We have purchased teaching strategies, the creative curriculum guides. Use them. I have them for toddlers and 2s. I have them for preschool. I have the pyramid model. I have second step. All those curriculums, all those resources ready for you. Tell me what you want to use, and then we will show you how to use it. Or if you're interested in one of them and you just want to take a peek and go through it yourself, say it. I'll bring it to you because I want them to be used. Staff Survey 2026. Fill this survey out. If you feel like you haven't been heard, if you feel like there's a concern you have, a question, you want to tell us how you really feel, I don't care. Fill it out, because you cannot be sure that we have heard you and we are taking everything into consideration until you put it out there for us. Some of you don't want to sit with us. That's fine. Fill out the survey. It's very fast. I made it user-friendly. You just rate it and then you can write about it. And the more you write in detail, the better it is for me to make sure that I am handling things the way that you expect them to be handled. If you have concerns, you want to see change, put it in there. If you want to know, if you want me to know who you are, you have to write your name because it's totally anonymous. And some people have done this survey, have done very specific requests, but I cannot figure out who they are. So if you want me to know who you are and handle something with you, put your name on it. If you don't, you want it to be anonymous, it is anonymous. I can't figure out who these people are who are writing to me. So thank you to those who filled it out. Some of you, I wish you put your name on it because I would be able to talk to you and help and figure things out and get some more clarity. So please fill this out. Click the link, do the survey. It only takes about 5 minutes. Do it during active rest tomorrow. Do it before you go to bed. I don't care. But please do it. Please do it. All right, kick off the school event. This is tentative. I just want to put it out there. If you have ideas for me, please share them because I don't have all very good ideas. I have the same ideas all the time. So if you're thinking of things, I'm thinking about it being September 12th. That is still a tentative date, 11 to 2, tentative times. But the idea, I would like to mold it and make it happen. So if you have ideas, I want to bring in community partners, services. I want to bring in food trucks, bounce house, access to the playgrounds, and you guys. I want you to be there so that our families can meet you and go into the room and really see all the wonderful work and hear about the wonderful work their child's going to engage in throughout the school year, from our infants to our graduating pre-K class. So tell me how you feel about it. If you're like, I'm not going, I won't even show up if you pay me, Shannon, then be honest with me because I'm only going to do this because it would be great for our families and if you're going to help me with this. So tell me what you think. And then this is going to happen. We always have our yearly trunk or treat. It's going to be on Halloween this year, which is pretty awesome. From 1 to 4, we got food trucks, we got pony rides, we got petting zoos, we got tons of vendors. I don't know what AI did, but that's supposed to be a photo op. We got, vendors, it's supposed to say. Games, free activities, face painting. I'm not very good at face painting, so if anybody wants to take over that job, please do. I was doing like smiley faces and bats and rainbows, but I mean, I'm sure someone can do better than that. And this is for our whole community. Everyone is welcome to attend. We've had over 600 children attend last year's event. It was fantastic, and people just look forward to it every year. So if you're a vendor yourself, if you know of a food truck, you know of a vendor, pass the word around. We're going to do it Halloween from 1 to 4 p.m. and setup begins at 11 a.m. These are more resources for you. I pay for a bunch of these, so feel free to use them. Your trainings must get done. Miss Ruby will hunt you down and give you her beautiful PowerPoint. And then if you have questions or comments or anything you want to share, please make sure you come see us or message us. If we don't know, we can't help you. All right. I sped through that last part. But have a wonderful evening. If you want to message me to let me know something, please go right ahead. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Have a lovely day and evening.